Washington Commanders Nation, we are now less than a week away from the start of the 2024 NFL Draft, and what a week it has been for Washington Commanders news. First things first, Washington held its own Commanders job fair a couple days ago. Guys had name tags on, lined up, group interview style, resumes in hand, all stating their case to be Washington's next quarterback. Just kidding, but not really. We had a mixer style meeting, interview, couple day situation going on here where we had at least 22 players in the building, including the top 4 quarterbacks of the class. They went out to Topgolf one night, and then the next day they were isolated for separate individual meetings. 18 other players were there, but the quarterbacks were the main topic. It being a main topic amongst some of the media who've never heard of the idea that teams interview guys in groups. And we found out that Jayden Daniels, owner, is an idiot a couple nights ago as well, and that he may have a desired destination for Jayden Daniels. We heard from our GM and assistant GM for a 26-minute interview yesterday, and a new episode of Commander's Log came out. What a week it was. A week that started with Jayden Daniels being a substantial leader as far as betting odds concerning Washington's pick at number 2. It was drastically ahead of Drake Maye. As we stand here on Friday, April 19th, 6 days before the draft, it is now even odds for Jayden Daniels and Drake Maye on FanDuel Network. Negative 115, minus 115 and minus 115 for Jayden Daniels and Drake Maye to be Washington's next quarterback. Was it Drake Maye's golf swing at Topgolf? Because if you haven't seen Drake Maye play golf, the swing is stellar. It's stellar. Just kidding. I know Topgolf had nothing to do with that, but let's talk about the group meeting thing. If you have a problem with what winning cultures do, I don't know what the fuck to tell you. We've been saying for years we want this team to move and operate like winning teams do. This whole group exercise comes from New England and San Francisco. Adam Peters has been in New England when they won Super Bowls, Denver when they won Super Bowls, and he's been a part of going to 2 Super Bowls as the assistant GM of the 49ers. This is what they do in San Francisco. They take guys to Topgolf in groups, and they like to let them go out and frolic as a team, go out and have fun, see how guys gravitate to them, see what they're like in a regular setting. The draft process can be so damn stressful. Let them let their hair down and have a good time together, see who they are as human beings, and then the next day, separate them and interview them. I don't see what the big issue with this is. I see fans bitching about it, and I see idiots like this cuck Mike Florio of Pro Football Talk going on about it. Why are you mixing? Shouldn't you have a favorite? Shouldn't you know who you're drafting by now? Shut the fuck up, Mike Florio. I don't want to hear anything regarding my team coming from Mike Florio or Thom Lavera. Well, I'll actually give Tommy some credit, which is wild coming from me because I hate him. He actually asked one of the more interesting questions when it came to Adam Peters and Lance Newmark's presser yesterday. He asked Peters, he kind of stumbled. He kind of made him stumble on his words and made him think for a second. He asked him, so Adam, when you were in San Francisco, not worried about drafting a quarterback, who was your favorite college quarterback last year? And did that change when you got hired here and had to go through the process? And Adam pretty much was like, oh shit, I wasn't really even thinking about the quarterback position in college because we had Brock Purdy in San Fran. I didn't know I was going to be elsewhere. So he stumped him. Thom actually asked a good question. W. Tommy. That'll be the last good thing I ever say about Thom Lavero on this channel because I hate him. But man, if you had a problem with the group interview thing, I don't know what to tell you. I'm all here for Commanders Job Fair 2024. And if anyone had a problem with it, if Jayden Daniels ain't want to compete, if any of them didn't want to compete or feel like I should be doing a visit. First of all, none of y'all are Caleb Williams. None of y'all are the prohibitive first pick in the draft. So nobody should be feeling away about coming in with a bunch of other prospects, kicking it, and then doing your interview solo the next day. Nobody should have an issue with that. But apparently, Jayden Daniels, pro bono, court appointed ass agent, got on Twitter and started liking shit and posting emojis and getting his Twitter fingers active the other day. Not the type of behavior I expect out of legit agents. And when you go through his likes on Twitter, it's definitely not the movement of an agent like a David Mulligetta or McCartney or Drew Rosenhaus, etc. Jayden Daniels, you may need new representation, because even if Jayden was the one influencing this movement by his agent, which I doubt, the draft is in 7 days. You really trying to get your client not selected with the second overall pick? Not saying a team's not going to draft him over the way his agents move in a week before the draft, but it's not the best look, because it could make the team feel like, oh, so Jayden didn't like the way we handled that. Jayden didn't want to compete. Jayden didn't want to mix it up with the other quarterbacks in the building. He thought he was supposed to get the Caleb Williams Chicago treatment where we didn't vet the other quarterbacks. It could look like that. It could easily look like that. But yeah, agent's wilding. And he was wilding on Twitter a couple weeks ago as well. The agent, not Jayden. We are not attacking Jayden Daniels. We are attacking his representation. And he liked a couple tweets saying some bullshit about the team and trashing and bashing the idea of us courting players in a group setting. And we had fun with the topic. We went crazy with it on Twitter, and it was a good time. I love a nice pile-on session. Social media is fun if you allow it to be, man. I'm there for shits, giggles, laughs, and information. I'm not there to take it seriously. We had a good time piling on old Ron Butler, but we still think his client's going to be drafted here at number 2. But you don't know. The odds did change, but maybe we shouldn't look into the odd shift at all either, because last year, 7 days before the draft, Will Levis had the highest betting odds to go number 2 in the draft, and that nigga didn't even go in the first round of the draft. He ended up going on night 2. So maybe those odds don't mean anything, and the sharp money is just following the trends on social media. But social media is the new album rollout for players to assert their leverage. Players use it as a tool to dictate what their next move is going to be. So while laughing and scoffing at the notion that social media doesn't matter in these sort of things, it kind of does in 2024. Gen Zers are a different breed, and apparently so are their agents. I don't know if he's like Jayden's godfather or something, but dude's got issues. And I seen an article that Mason Kinahan posted about this guy that apparently stole clients and money from the old agency he worked with. This doesn't sound like the kind of guy I'd expect the number 2 overall pick in the draft to be represented by, but Jayden still might be the pick next week. He probably will be the pick next week. So we'll see how that plays out. Adam Peters and Lance Newmark spoke to the media yesterday for about 26 minutes. And what a time it is to be alive as a Washington fan. Just look at the professionalism. Look at the way they conduct the press conference. The first 7 minutes of the press conference was Adam Peters thanking every single person in the organization that has had anything to do with the offseason construction of the team. Every scout, every coach, every member of every department that had anything to do with the last couple months in the draft process, he thanked them by name and by position. So professional. Bruce Allen would never. Ron and them would not even ever. And you got to see the dynamic between Adam Peters and Lance Newmark. I wasn't hip to how close they were as friends before he took this job. They talk about their relationship, and you can easily see how they bounce things off each other. While Adam Peters knows he's the big dick in the room, he shared that platform. He shared that space with Lance Newmark so gracefully and let him get as much questions as he did. They bounced things off each other, bounced logic off each other, and they spoke about how they had a friendship, but they had never worked together on a professional capacity before. So it was nice to see them work the room together, man. We got some hired guns in here. We got some guys who know what they're doing now. And I don't take too much from what they said in the presser, but it just feels good to listen to him speak. Adam Peters pretty much told the world, I'm not interested in trading back from 2. We're sticking at 2 and we're drafting a quarterback. Point blank, period. Don't discuss us with Minnesota, Denver, or Vegas trade offers ever again. We are sticking and picking at 2. We also found out yesterday, according to ESPN's Jordan Reed, that the NFL's worst kept secret is that Washington is going to trade back into the first round for tackle, receiver, cornerback, for something. But the worst kept secret is that Washington has already started to put parameters in place, making phone calls to get back into the first round for a pick. If you watch this channel, I've been the biggest fan of this. I've been saying all off season, we have the flexibility, and the moves we made in free agency give us the fluidity to move up in the draft, move up, down. We have the flexibility to do whatever we want in this upcoming draft. I expect us to pick 2 times on night 1. And according to Jordan Reed, that is already something that we're trying to make shake behind the scenes. I'm going to keep it short and sweet. Full week of content coming at you next week. I've been moving and working a crazy schedule over these last couple weeks so I can get a couple days off next week. I will be off for Thursday and Friday. I will be live streaming night 1 and night 2 of the draft with the guys. Cannot wait to get with my boys and wild out on stream. We are 6 days away from having a franchise quarterback and hopefully selecting 2 times on night 1 of the NFL draft. That's all I got for right now. Watch the Commanders log if you haven't caught it yet. Watch Adam Peters and Lance Newmark's assistant GM press conference from yesterday, and log on to Twitter, X, whatever you want to call Elon's app, and just scroll the timeline, because the Daniels versus Maye civil war lives on Agent Gate, and there is always something interesting happening on the timeline. And before I go, I want to give another shout out to the Trapper Dive podcast with Jamal Forrest, DC Sports Dre, and AJ. They have been absolutely killing it. After the Adam Schefter appearance, they've parlayed Louis Riddick and RG3 appearances on the same day. You cannot go into the NFL draft with more momentum than them. Shout out to the guys. Keep going up. And we love to see new media and fan podcasts doing their motherfucking thing in this content space, because to be perfectly honest, we do it better than a lot of these media guys do. But that's just me. That's all I got for right now. Until next time, hail to the Washington Commanders. Commander Rio, out.